Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Mike and Ant. This will be a quickie. I'm going to break down tonight's game between the Cowboys and the Lions. Huge win by the Detroit Lions. They get the win 44 to 30. This helps their playoff standings. Um, they're now 8-5. So they are a game behind San Francisco for that final wild card spot. They could, depending on what happens this weekend, they'll only be maybe a half game back or maybe just a game back. We'll see what happens with the Packers and the Bears. One thing that helps the Lions moving forward is that the Packers and Bears play each other twice here in the last 5 games, in the final 5 games, starting with this weekend's game. So depending on what happens between the Packers and the Bears, that could also help Detroit get the wild card as well. I think the division is going to come down to these Packers Bears games. So the Lions don't have a chance to win the division, in my opinion. I mean, technically they do have a chance with Slim, but I don't think they're going to win the division. But they can still get in as a wild card. And as I mentioned last week when talking with Mike, is that they're going to have to basically not necessarily win out, but they're going to have to win at least four out of the last 5 games, and then hope either one of the teams in the NFC West kind of slips and falls here in the final month of the season. As currently you have three teams in that division that are in the playoffs, with the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners, and all three teams have a chance to win that division. So they're not even looking at wild card; they're looking at possibly winning the division. Right now, the Rams and Seahawks are tied at 9-3, and then the Niners are just a half game back at 9-4. So all three teams are still in play in that division as far as winning the division, and then whoever loses will probably get the wild card, but there's still that third team, and that's that team that Detroit's trying to catch. And that's the team that Detroit's hoping to slip and fall here in the last month of the season. For the Cowboys, it's a huge loss, as they could not afford to lose any more games, and they lose this one, and so they still have a chance to win the NFC East, but again, it's a slim chance. The Cowboys at this point, they're going to have to probably win out and then hope that the Eagles, uh, lose at least three of the next 4 games. But the Cowboys, they put themselves in a situation where they have to win out. They cannot afford to lose any more games this season, and they're making the wild card will probably be tough too because they're now three back of San Francisco, and it's going to be hard. Three back with 4 games left to play, so it's going to be hard to catch them. I think the only way the Cowboys get in now is if they somehow miraculously win that division. For them to win that division, it's going to take Philly to slip and fall here in the last month of the season, which I mean is possible because the Eagles have not played well at all this season. So we'll see what happens. Quickly, I'll go over the stats for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott completed 31 of 47 passes, 376 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions. Javante Williams has 17 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Lead the Dallas Cowboys in rushing. Uh, Ryan Flournoy, I think you say his name. He led the team in receiving with 9 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb also had a great game too, 6 catches, 121 yards. Excuse me, but he left the game in the second half with a concussion. As for the Lions, Jared Goff was um, consistent. He had a very solid game. He played 25 34 passes, 309 yards, one touchdown, no picks. David Montgomery led the team in rushing with 6 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Jameer Gibbs had 12 carries for 43 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not a great game for him, but he did have 3 rushing touchdowns. David Montgomery only 6 carries, but he did have 60 yards, which led the team in rushing. And then Jameson Williams led the team in receiving with 7 catches for 96 yards. And they got a huge boost with Amon St. Brown, who came back despite not practicing this whole week. He suffered that sprained ankle on Thanksgiving, but he toughed it out on one ankle. He did have 6 catches for 92 yards. So that was it. The Lions did put up 44 points. Everybody was talking about this improved Dallas defense. But as I mentioned, yeah, the Cowboys defense has improved since making that trade for Quentin Williams, but quarterbacks are still having the best games of the season against this defense. So I'm not surprised that the Lions put a 40 piece on them. But and also too for the Lions, this is the best their offensive look since Dan Campbell took over play calling. But the question for the Lions moving forward is, have they found a rhythm with Dan Campbell and now calling the plays, or is this just an indictment on how bad the Cowboys defense is? Time will tell. But in the meantime, that was a huge win for the Rams. Tough, devastating loss for the Cowboys. Mike and I, we will be back this weekend to break down the rest of week 14 and give you our picks and predictions. Also, to go more in depth of the playoffs as we'll go over the seeding and what important games are coming up this weekend that could impact the playoffs and the seedings and which team goes where. There's some huge games, especially in the AFC South and the NFC North, that can have a huge impact on which team will win that division or win those divisions. So, what look out for that later on this week. In the meantime, like and subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on X/Twitter at Mob Squad 508 for Mike, at Expected Ant for myself. Also, too, if you scan the QR code, you get and you type in Mob Squad 508, you get 10% off on all Doobie Energy products. And you can also listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, and Amazon Music. And so we will see you later on this week. Like I said, it's just a quick one. And yeah, we're out. Peace.